Welcome to How We Heard It, the podcast about music, pop culture, movies, and more, with your hosts Wayne Bledsoe and Chuck Campbell.
Welcome to How We Heard It. This is Chuck Campbell with my co-host
Wayne Bledsoe.
Howdy, Wayne. All right.
Good to see you, Chuck.
We're going to flip the script this time, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I mean, we talk about movies regularly, but it's time to do a whole show that's focused on movies.
We do talk about movies regularly, and we always have. We've kind of made a point to this point of making music our main topic, but this week is like we want to periodically do movies, and we have yet to do a movie one.
Right.
And it's time. But tell me something. We didn't really talk about how we were going to do this, but we're zeroing in on scary/weird or scary weird movies.
Right. Well, we were talking about, we talked about doing just weird movies or just scary movies, and we can do those separately, but this time we can do them together.
Right. I think a lot of scary movies are weird, and some weird movies are kind of scary.
Yeah.
So that works. What about in individual breakdowns? So we both got lists I see here. I don't see what's on your list.
Probably nothing that's on your list.
I can't quite tell. You're too far away. But I don't know if we have duplicates or whatever. We both enjoy scary movies.
And we both like weird movies.
And it's interesting because some genres of movies I'm just tired of. It's like action movies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if I see another car chase or another gunfight, and it's just over and over again. Superhero movies, they always end with people in weird costumes levitating over rubble and shooting lasers at each other.
And they can do anything. That's the thing.
And they can actually do anything. Rom-coms, it's always like, two people who shouldn't like each other. They like each other. They fall in love. And then at the end of Act 2, there's something bad's happened. And they're walking down the street with slow music playing. And
they actually, promote toxic behavior.
Yes, they do promote toxic behavior. They do. I mean, it's like they allow themselves to get over things that shouldn't be tolerated ever. But in saying all that, I'm not looking down my nose at people who like those kinds of movies because I like dumb comedies.
Me too.
And I like scary movies, and they have their own little trappings and everything.
Right.
So if you enjoy your superheroes, if you enjoy your rom-coms, great. But this is our little thing that we both like. The downside is with scary movies and weird movies, if you're trying to talk to someone about them, what makes a scary movie or a weird movie great is usually the element of surprise and some things you don't expect to see. And if you tell someone about the movie and you say, oh, well, there's a big surprise, then they're sitting there wondering what the big surprise is. And even worse, if you tell them what the big surprise is, you've ruined the movie.
True.
So how do you talk about a movie that you can't explain anything about what's great about it? You just have to say, oh, this is a really great movie. Trust me. Just see it. I can't tell you anything about it, but just see it and we'll talk about it.
Well, you called me about a movie, and we both, I can't remember if we recommended it or not. But
I don't think I have, and I think I'm going to today, and if I already have, then oops. But anyway.
Okay, well, but we're probably going to talk about it then. So
okay,
let's just wait. Let's just get started.
We'll just wait.
And that way,
we'll just wait.
We'll get into it because that was one that you texted me right after you saw it, and I had to go see it after you did, and then we talked about it.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it several times, but never on the podcast.
Probably.
I think, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
All right, who's going to start?
I can start. So what I've got is my premise is one. Some of the scariest movies I think are like old movies, like old movies, like Hitchcock or The Exorcist, or just older, like Alien and Friday the 13th, stuff like that. Yeah, The Shining. And I think they've been talked to death. I don't really have anything to say about those. And all of those movies, they got huge audiences. Right. I think everybody's seen them. Everything that can be said about them has been said. So I'm not saying that what I'm talking about are the best movies. There are some back there. Alien still is creepy, great, charismatic, and even fairly recent ones like The Ring, I'm not going to talk about that. That one I thought was great. And just ones that have been bigger hits more lately, like Hereditary or Get Out, or all of those Annabelle and Conjuring and Nun movies. Fine, they got huge audiences. I don't have anything to add to the conversation.
Yeah, and they were good. We agreed pretty much on.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah. And so what I'm talking about are movies that are fairly recent. I think the oldest one I got is like 15 years old, and several of them are in the last 2 or 3 years. But these are movies that had a buzz, that had a good buzz, and a lot of people, a lot of horror fans did manage to go out and see them, but they still kind of missed. I think they could have been even bigger than they were, and they just got good buzz, and then they were forgotten about because it is hard to keep up. Horror films, they still come out like almost every week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the one genre that's thriving through all of this, a horrible time for movie industry. So I'll start. I've got 3 I want to pop out individually, and then maybe a few honorable mentions.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with one that's going back all the way to 2009.
Oh my God!
I know. If you can remember, then were you born? I don't. Were you around yet? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was too. So 2009.
Okay.
Drag Me to Hell.
Yep. That's a good.
Sam Raimi movie. Of course, Sam Raimi and his brother Ivan, they wrote and directed this movie, and it's very much a descendant of the Evil Dead movies that Sam Raimi did a long time ago with Bruce Campbell and The Cabin, and Bruce Campbell over the top kind of a hero, and all the quips and all the horrible things and the funny things kind of existing side by side. And this one is no different, except that the hero is quite different. It's a woman played by, I think her name is Christine in the movie. And it's Alison Lohman.
Right.
And she is like a mousy young woman. No, I don't mean that in an unattractive way. She's attractive, but she's just this very meek woman who has low self-esteem, and she's trying to better her life, and she's like listening to learning Spanish, while she's driving. And it's set in Los Angeles, the movie is, but it's kind of away from any of the glitz of Los Angeles, just a little home that she lives in. And she's got her meek little boyfriend played by Justin Long, oddly enough, but he's just the supportive boyfriend. And she's trying to get, and so I'm trying not to give too much away. So whatever I talk about with these movies, it's basically just the setup, and then all the weird crap that is to come. You're just going to have to experience that yourself. But the beauty of this one is you have this unlikely woman facing the whole of the dark underworld, for her existence, and in the most unlikely of ways. She's working at a little branch bank, and she's trying to get a promotion, to a loan officer type job. And her boss is played by, who is that? David Paymer. And he's funny too. I mean, so many great characters. And this is Sam Raimi. This is the efforts of a man who's had decades of experience making great movies and telling great stories. And
combining humor and horror.
That's what's so great about it, too. Because, when I first saw it, I was scared. I saw it in the theater, and it was scary. It was wild. There were funny parts, but I was more worried about what else was going to happen. So you would see some, demonic character do something silly, or like mock her, bully her, or something like that. And then you're worried about everybody's well-being again and all that stuff. But there's so many dry little lines and funny lines, and just for her to be caught up in it. And there is I call it one of the best fight scenes in a movie. And you know who I'm talking about. But it's two characters who would never fight in a movie or anywhere else. The 2 types of people who would never fight each other or anybody. And suddenly they're both got all this desperate energy to annihilate the other one. And so it's this really awkward, gross and story where they're actually trying to kill each other, and just bizarre things happen in it, and as only Sam Raimi can do it. And after you see it, the thing about this movie is, I think the first couple of times around, you can go and you can let the fear and the horror kind of be the dominant feelings, and the humor can be downgraded. But then after you've seen it, and this is the way it is with a lot of scary movies, when you've seen it, you've seen all the scares, you're not scared anymore when you keep seeing it. But the humor really stands out more and more you watch it. So it goes from a scary movie the first couple of times around to a funny movie if you just keep watching it. And I could watch this movie probably once a week and still not get tired of it. But I don't know. What was your take on it?
I thought it was great. And I believe that you recommended it to me before I saw it, because you were raving about it. And, of course, it's Sam Raimi. And Sam Raimi's stuff is, I even like his superhero stuff.
Right,
Yeah, he is just such a good director, and he's got such a great sense of humor.
He does.
And, I don't want to give anything away on there's a little kind of possession nod in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that part is...
Are you talking, you're talking about with the big scene, with well, not big scene, but the several people. Yeah.
I'm talking about The Fly.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was
brilliant. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right.
That's one of my favorite parts of, any kind of possession movie is the fly in this is really important and really funny. And
Right. Well,
funny and scary and the whole thing.
There was a funny, scary goat in the movie too,
I can't remember the goat.
Oh, and that was like one of the bullying scenes too.
It's gosh, I have to watch it.
Oh yeah, you got to watch that whole scene was just crazy and creepy, and it's just wonderful to see so many different great elements of like the acting, the actors. I saw Alison Lohman was going to be in a movie, and I thought in a horror movie by Sam Raimi. I'm like, what? And she's perfect,
she's
because
great.
She's like admiring a coat that she hopes to buy one day, and she like decorates her office and her home like a middle school kid might do it, with like posters of bunnies or cats, and hang in there and all that stuff. And it's just like this innocent little woman, who's just a blip on the radar of humanity. And all of a sudden, like I say, she's got to face down just all these unspeakable things and characters, just character after character.
Yep, and and the thing is, I mean, she has temptations.
Yeah,
and it's how strong are you to not give into your temptations in this movie? Right.
She has temptations. She has like the encounter with Justin Long's mother, who's like this protective. He's from a rich family and she doesn't want him dating her son. And she has this encounter with her that's kind of a bonding thing, but it just like that goes south. Everything kind of goes south, and the more she tries to control everything, the more it comes away. And like when she gets upset with the temptations, like you say, she's like desperate. She needs money to hire this high level psychic to save her and all that, and she doesn't have the money, and she's trying to pawn things, and she's just sitting there eating ice cream and crying. It's just sort of like it's like you just pluck this normal nobody out of the world and say, all right, now you've got to fight the underworld, arm up.
And it really is kind of a nod to, I mean, all the Evil Dead movies, and especially kind of Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Where it's just so over the top and crazy, and there's still scary stuff in it, but it's just fun.
Yeah.
I think that was a great one. And we ought to, while we were talking about it, we ought to kind of give a shout out, I think, to Justin Long, period, because he was in Jeepers Creepers, which is a great movie.
Yes.
He was in what I think you're going to talk about later, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's kind of a secret element in a lot of really good horror movies.
I know, and you don't even think of him as like a horror actor, I still think of him as like what that Apple commercials, he
just looked a dorky kind of guy.
Yeah, just kind of a dorky, kind of jerky guy, although he's not a jerk at all in this movie. He's very supportive of his little meek girlfriend who's, just being haunted and tormented by everything. But anyway, I recommend it because I think it's one, if you just haven't managed to see it yet, you should see it. And you can see, if you have seen it, you should watch it again just for the humor of it, if you're already aware of how, all the horror plots. And there's one weird thing about it, which there's a scene, and this is just an odd thing, and I can't figure out why they did it this way, but she was in this really chaotic scene, and she gets filthy and all this stuff, and she's fighting and everything, and then she's walking away. And when she's walking away, she's suddenly some other actress, and it's got nothing to do with the movie. This isn't a stunt woman. There's no stunt when this other actress. And I read about it and just said, oh, so and so is her, at this scene when she's walking. There's no element where she becomes another person, and then it's just her again. And it's like, I don't know how that happened or why that happened. If Sam Raimi just, she was a stand-in for her, for Alison Lohman, and
maybe it's
it's her face and everything. It's like, well, who's that supposed to be? When I first saw it, I was like, did she transform into another woman after that? No, she just goes back to who she was again.
I need to watch it again because I haven't seen it since it came out, but I really liked it.
Yeah, you should definitely look that one up.
Yeah. Well, now my first recommendation here is it's not for everybody. And it's way on the weird side.
Okay.
When people say they've seen a weird movie, I say, well, have you ever seen a woman have sex with a giant catfish? Then you probably haven't seen the weirdest movie. Uncle Boone Me, Who Can Recall His Past Lives. and it's a Thai movie. And if you know anything about Thai culture, which I didn't until I saw this movie, and then I started reading up on it, they believe ghosts are everywhere.
Okay.
They have them categorized. There's these different types of ghosts all over, and they're always around. Okay. And in this movie, I cannot pronounce the name of the director. He's got a name that's got like 47 consonants and 3 vowels in it, but it's a long name, and he just goes by Joe most of the time because his
it's
name
just
is so
easier to
hard.
say and write.
But it is about an older fella who is, I think he has kidney disease. He has something he's getting treated for, and this is a slow movie. It's like a classic of slow cinema, so you've got to be prepared. These are long, meditative scenes.
Okay.
But it's full of ghosts.
Okay.
And there's one scene.
Are you aware they're ghosts when you're looking at? Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not, they don't announce them as ghosts necessarily, but his late wife comes and has dinner with them during one scene. Mm-hmm. He's got a dead son who is a ghost that is also kind of a forest creature.
Okay.
That comes back.
But he recognizes this
He
creature
knows
as
it's
his son.
Yeah, and it's just it's unnerving. And the last scene in it, which I'm not going to say what it is, but I thought about it. I still think about it every once in a while because it's so odd. Mm-hmm. Nothing that much serious happens. And the thing with the catfish is actually kind of part of the movie is it goes back and tells a folk tale about a princess who is lured into a river or a stream or something by a giant catfish who has sex with her and shakes off her jewelry.
Okay, well, so the catfish is like human size, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's a human-sized catfish, and it has apparently enough parts to have a sexual encounter with a princess.
Well, that's certainly a weird movie.
It's as weird. It is really.
It's not that scary though. Or?
No, it's not scary. It's kind of unnerving, and you get to the end of it, and you're just sort of like, "What the hell did I just watch?" And I like movies like that.
Right.
But a lot of people are not
long?
going to like it.
You say it's got.
It's a couple hours long.
Okay. It's not like a 3-hour.
No.
I draw the line at a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, but this fella is known for slow movies, and actors and actresses want to work with him because he's such a great director. But it is a very, very, very strange film.
Okay. And what's the name again?
It's called Uncle Boone Me, Who Can Recall His Past Lives. It was released in 2010.
Okay.
And
I really haven't heard this one at all.
Well, it was. I can't remember where I read about it, but it was very intriguing. And back in the days when Netflix would, you'd get your discs through the mail. That's how I found it. And it's out there, and people love it. And of that genre, film is considered maybe not the classic, but at least a classic.
Okay.
But yeah, tons of ghosts and just really strange, and you'll think about it for a long time.
And the ghosts are just they're not
evil
causing.
They're just there.
They're just there. Yeah,
and that's
what they say. It's like don't assume that all ghosts are scary or out to scare anybody or anything like that. They may be there to teach you a lesson or to resolve their own things. Or
that's the thing is with this, it's people are always it's kind of their memories of the people, and they're dealing with them always kind of being there. When the wife comes back and they're sitting at the dinner table and people it's just sort of normal.
Right.
They just sort of say, oh, yeah, there's...
It sounds like it might be scary to me because that sounds like too much like dreams I have.
Well, it's very dreamlike. The whole movie is very dreamlike.
Yeah, okay.
And that's one of the things I particularly like about it is it has that feel.
I like some, yeah.
And that, like I said, the last part of it, it's very much like a dream where you're kind of waiting to see what does this mean.
Okay.
So anyway, but just be prepared.
Did you decide what it meant? Is it clear? Is it interpretive?
It's
or you can't give it away.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things because I'd have to say what happens in it, and I don't want to do that.
No,
but
don't tease anything.
But you think I thought about it for a long time, and I mean, after we watched it with a group of people on television. And it was everybody was sort of quiet afterwards, and then we started talking about what did that last scene mean and why is it there?
Right.
It's
okay.
But yeah, it's
a talker.
Yeah, it's very different.
You have to find someone else to watch it and then talk to them about it.
Well, you definitely something I think you want to watch with people because you're both. I mean, it would be weird experiencing it alone. I think.
Okay.
But
All right.
it's just, it's one of those movies that sticks with you in this weird, weird way.
All right.
I like the looks on everybody's faces here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of leads into my next pop out here.
Okay.
And this is something I know everyone's heard of, and they know some bits of it, but somehow everyone hasn't seen it yet. And it's Midsummer.
Right.
From 2019. Did you see that?
I saw that one.
Okay.
Women tend to like it better than men, I will say this.
Well, I mean, there's a reason for that, and I mean, really, that's like it's produced from Ari Aster.
Yeah.
Aster, but the key is this woman, Florence Pugh, and played by Florence Pugh, who's A-list actress now.
Right.
But this goes back in 2019, all the way back in 2019, and the beauty of this one to me is just the setup and the premise. And I can tell you without giving much away that in the very beginning of the movie, there's an absolutely horrific scene that's really not related to anything else that happens in the movie other than the emotional impact it has on the Florence Pugh character. It's like this huge loss that she suffers, and she's got a boyfriend, okay, and they're in a bad relationship that's just kind of going south, and she desperately needs somebody for emotional support because it's just an unthinkable, just like awful thing that happened, and they play it out horrifically. It's in the very early part of the movie, so I'm not. And she needs his help, and he's already over her. He's just good enough to feel guilty enough to not ditch her,
Right.
And when she's calling up and wailing and upset, he tries to be as patient as he can. But his friends also don't like her, and they don't like that, she's taking all of his time away.
Yep.
And the woman has a legitimate need for some compassion from somebody, so she needs him to step up, and he's done. He's like stepping out, he's like over it, and she knows she needs to let him go. And it's so this is how the movie starts, and she finds out through chance, they're like sitting there with his friends who don't like her. And she finds out that he's going to Sweden, and they're all going to Sweden. And so she gets awkward and kind of throws a fit about it. And then he caves in and says, well, you want to go with us? Thinking that she'll say no. And then she wants to say no, but she ends up saying yes. And this is something that couples who are at the end do all the time. They make a joint decision to do something terrible. Like they make a really bad choice. And so they decide that they're going to go, when she needs emotional help and psychiatric help and everything, they're going to go across the ocean to a commune in Sweden. And part of it is one of his friends is going to do a thesis about these people. It's a group of Swedes. The movie's actually filmed in Hungary, which I thought was interesting.
I didn't know that.
But and they're in this beautiful setting, and they're happy people. These Swedes are really happy people, and they live on the farms, and they make all their own food and their own everything they need. They're self-sustained. They're not closed down to the outside world because they let these people come in, and there are a couple of other outsiders who join them who are like from England or something like that. So there's like 6 or 7 outsider group, and this Florence Pugh character is the outsider among the outsiders. Right. And then you have, I don't know, like 60 people, Swedish people, who are living in this commune, and it just goes south so badly.
Well, sort of. Well, it's sort of, Chuck.
Yeah, well, it's like the commune people are happy, and they have their traditions, and they have their rituals, and they're happy with it, and they don't see anything that they do as horrifying. And it's not really like they've lured them in to do terrible things to them exactly, but they're just there to study them, and they get caught up in it. And the worst part is, you got this bickering couple that's so mad at each other over petty little things, and meanwhile the whole world is like changing for everybody else, and they're not, and then like just big shocking things will happen. I can't give away the types of horrible things that happen and that you see and decision.
But this is folk horror. I mean,
it's folk horror. Yeah.
It falls in line with The Wicker Man and Harvest Home and things like that, where it's like traditions, like ancient traditions carried over.
Right. And they're very ancient. I mean, they're very like earthy people. These are like very pagan type of,
Right.
They
irritated
have
the
their
piss out of me
customs.
really early on.
Did they? The Swedes did?
The Swedes did. They were just a little too shiny and sweet.
They were shiny, yes, and so loving. And I mean, it's like the cults,
Yeah.
that everybody wants to be part of this group, because they all love each other and they're
Yeah.
all happy for all their lives, and then you get this angry young American couple that can't get over the tone that he had when he said something to her,
Yep.
and they're just kind of had their back to it. Their friends are picking up on it faster than they are, but it's really beautifully filmed. I love Hungary, as Sweden, and like I say, the farm, the bucolic life that they have. There's so many things to admire about it, but Midsummer, it just builds and builds and builds to this just crazy finale.
Did you see the long version of it or the short? The short version is already long. There's a version that he put out later that has like 20 more minutes.
I don't know. I may have seen both because I feel like I saw it in the theater. And then I saw it again, and there were scenes I didn't remember.
Well, you probably saw the longer one.
Okay.
Because he re-released it with a longer edit.
Okay.
And I already thought it was a pretty long movie.
Was it even more?
I didn't see the long version.
Oh, okay. Well, it was pretty graphic violence, sort of. But it's just sort of a violence, It's not like a serial killer or slasher movie or anything like that. But
it does build.
Yeah. But it was well done. It was innovative. I think there was a lot of talk about it, a lot of buzz about it. It didn't have like a really long extended stay in theaters, but it's certainly been around. And if you haven't seen it, see it.
Especially if you're a woman who's in a bad relationship with a guy.
Yeah,
she's going to like it a whole lot better than the guy.
I guess so. I mean, it's like I mean, she was presented as the heroine, but she was annoying, and it's like, I get it, what she went through is like, oh my God, this poor woman, you just want to hug her. But at the same time, if you're trying to break up with her, do you really want to be guilted into hugging her?
Yeah.
And it's like, I felt some sympathy for the guy, not a lot, but I felt some sympathy for the guy who just kind of wanted everything to go away.
There's a lot of conflicting emotions.
Yeah. Okay, but Wayne has informed me that women, you will like this especially.
I'm just saying. Well, of course, I have to say also, some friends and I saw it. Some other friends saw it. We were having dinner one night, so I kind of have to take that back a little bit because the woman in the relationship of these two friends, she hated it so much. I thought they might have been, it might have been divorce coming up after this because I have never heard. I mean,
what did she hate about it? Was it just the
everything?
Oh, okay,
everything, and the fact that it was.
Did she
long,
know it was going to be graphic and scary?
I don't think so. I don't think so
because it's weirdly graphic.
But my friend who saw, the guy in the friend couple, he loves horror movies, and I don't think she does.
Oh, well, there's a problem right there.
Yeah, there's a problem.
You need to be with.
They're not going to make it.
They're not going to make it.
All right.
Don't let them hear this, though.
My next recommendation is a movie that didn't get a lot of good press. Part of it is the backlash on M. Night Shyamalan, but it's The Visit. It's his. I thought The Sixth Sense was terrific, and I've always been a little bit disappointed in the others. I thought The Village was better than most people thought, but I really think The Visit, which is about two kids who were dropped off at their grandparents'.
Oh, yeah. I know this movie.
And it was
good, yes.
It got no good press that I could see, and it is his second scariest movie after The Sixth Sense.
Yes.
And it is the twist is a great twist because he always has a twist, but this is way better than all the other twists.
Yeah.
And I found the end to be terrifying. I mean, it is. Yeah. I think it's the most suspenseful thing he has done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably more suspenseful than the Sixth Sense.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it just, I just thought, oh well, these kids, weird situation. Yeah, and then it's like, oh my God.
And that's the thing. They're dropped off, and they're told they can't leave their rooms after 9:30.
Right.
So of course, what are they going to do?
Right.
They start sneaking around to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then it just gets weirder and creepier.
Yep.
And it's definitely the weirdest movie that he's made.
Right.
And just...
I agree. Yeah, I don't know what more you can say safely.
Yeah, you don't want to give anything away in
No.
this, but just expect that, what...
But there are children in peril. So you can warn people
totally
if you
in
don't want
peril.
children in peril,
And
this
there-
one's going to bother you.
And there are some horror moments that are just completely out there as to why it's horrible, and we can't talk about it. But
Right.
there's just some old people things that are really extra scary in this movie.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, most of the time you think, oh, okay, here comes the twist. And the twist in this is so good and well done that I just think it's a terrific movie. People should see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was a good one. I've forgotten the name of it, but yeah.
Yeah, and he gets so much grief. And
Oh, I mean, he had, was it the one with his daughter that he made this release this year?
I haven't seen the most recent one.
It's, Watcher.
Oh, The Watchers. Yeah, that's
Awful.
out now.
Just
I haven't
awful.
watched it.
Just a pedestrian, I think it was her story.
Uh-huh.
And just like, a lame twist and just like no tension, no characters that you care about.
I thought Old was terrible.
Yeah,
It was
Old
just-
was pretty. This is worse than Old. This is worse than any of his own movies, I think. I can't think of any of his own movies that were as bad as this one.
Yeah, and I mean, I generally am disappointed. After The Sixth Sense, I've been disappointed, but I was not disappointed in The Visit.
No,
The
you're
Visit
right. It was good.
Scary.
It was. And I thought Village was okay, too, but this
Yeah.
one was better. This
Yeah.
was better than anything, but I agree exactly.
Yeah.
Better than any of his movies except maybe Sixth Sense. So, totally down.
Okay, we're so far we're in totally
Well,
agree.
here's another one. We're on the same page, and you knew this was coming.
I knew this was
This
coming.
is 2022, Barbarian. I don't know how everyone who likes horror films hasn't seen this yet,
Yeah.
and I feel like everybody who likes a horror film should see this one because of how it's not overly complicated, but just from the very beginning, it's uneasy. It's
Yep.
uneasy, and
Justin Long plays a great asshole.
yeah,
he is terrible.
Yeah. Well, he's in. I can say this: it's kind of like 3 or 4 movies that you're watching. And this first movie, I was just like uncomfortable from the beginning, and I was worried and stressed about. And I thought, I don't know if I can watch a whole movie of this going, because it was just a really awful scenario. Basically, 2 people end up in the same Airbnb in Detroit.
Yep.
And
In
they
an
don't know each
abandoned neighborhood in Detroit.
in an abandoned neighborhood. They don't realize how bad it is until later because, it's at night and it's storming, so you just see rain and everything. And it's the only house that's not boarded up, basically. And, and it's just like, oh my God, and you're just like, this is just the recipe for a horrible disaster.
And it is.
Yes, it's Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård are the first 2 characters in part 1, and it is. But again, this movie has so many unexpected things. You can't really talk about it.
Well, it's I wouldn't even call them twists so much.
No.
It's just it goes places that you do not expect.
No,
And you come out the other end just like, what the hell did I see?
right. And I think I'm doing a service to tell people it becomes other movies as it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Because really, if it had all been that first part of the movie, I thought I would definitely say, I can't sit through 2 hours of this.
Yeah.
Because this is too uncomfortable. This is too, it's like you're just taking your breath in at every moment and every turn and every bit of dialogue. But then it becomes a completely different movie with Justin Long.
Yep.
And it's funny and everything. And then it becomes a completely different movie with some other characters that we won't talk about.
Yeah.
And then there's that big finale movie of kind of it all comes together and you're not sure what you want to happen or how it's going to happen and who's really bad and who's good and who's somewhere in the middle. And it's just like a whole lot of questions to be answered. But it's just a great movie. It got great reviews.
And you texted me after you saw it.
That's the one.
And insisted I go see it.
You've just got to see it. Yeah, I did what I always say. It's like when it's a horror film, it's like, I can't tell you anything about this movie, but you have to see it. And we can talk about it after you see it.
I can't talk to you until you do see it.
That's right. I can't even talk to you till you see it.
And this is John Baker, our engineer.
Hello.
Yes.
John, you got anything to add on this stuff before we move on to the next?
I've never been I don't like being scared.
Really?
No. So horror movies really scare me. And I don't really watch a lot of them, so I'm just taking it in.
You might like Drag Me to Hell just because I think the humor
sounds interesting.
The humor outweighs the scares.
And I just remembered a movie that scared the hell out of me, so I'll recommend it later.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
You got another pop out, or
well, I have one. I have one more, and it's another movie that some people really did not like. That I went in expecting very little from, and I thought it was really, really creepy. Appropriately, it's just called Creep.
Okay.
And it is from 2014. It is Mark Duplass. How do you pronounce his name right? Duplass.
Mm-hmm.
He plays a guy who puts an ad out.
I think he's Canadian. Anyway,
he puts out an ad for a fellow to come and document his. He has a little testimony he wants to give, and he brings a little independent filmmaker out. And that is as much as I can tell you about the plot. Because it starts out and you think you're watching one thing and it gets creepier and creepier as it goes along, and you realize you're watching something that it's actually something else is going on.
Okay.
And it's one of those, I think it only has two actors in the entire thing.
Okay.
But
the whole movie.
Wow. But it's very claustrophobic. Most of it takes place inside this man's house.
Okay.
And the level of should you worry about the filmmaker just keeps increasing. And it's, like I said, a lot of people have not liked this movie, but I think part of it is just because it is so small and claustrophobic. But I thought it was a total surprise on how good it was. And it is weird because, like I said, it's only two people, and the premise, there's going to be something. I mean, it's advertised as a horror film, so something is going to happen, and it's just more and more uncomfortable as it goes on. Yay.
So it's like if that opening scene in Barbarian, it just kept going on.
No, it's more entertaining than that. There's some humor in it, and you're trying to figure out this guy. And in fact, as I recall, the first part of it is pretty funny overall. But things go for a turn, and it is indeed a horror film. What's it called again? It's called Creep.
Creep. Okay.
And
a Radiohead song.
Yeah. Well, it became sort of an underground hit, and they made a Creep 2, which I haven't seen. But yeah, if you like that kind of thing, it's pretty great.
Okay. Yeah. You gave me a little insight on that one before we started talking. So, yeah, it does.
I think you'd like it.
And I agree. You can't really explain it.
No, this is
Sorry, people.
Yeah, I mean, no. This is
we're here to be vague today.
Well, we kind of have to be. On that sort of stuff.
Like I said, we don't want to ruin anything. We want you to see it and not have anything spoiled. So
you're gonna go through some quick ones. I got some quick
takes. I got some quick takes. This is one from 2014. And it's called It Follows. Did you see that? Oh, that's a
great one. I love It Follows.
Called It Follows. And it's a curious movie. It was filmed in Michigan, I believe. And it's kind of a suburban movie that might have been like the 80s. I'm not even sure if the time element. It's not that important, but it's definitely not modern. But it's not really old either. Could have been 80s or not, because there were like no SUVs, and I watched it again yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So, and like they don't have like cell phones and stuff like that. And it's mainly younger people. It's like from high school kids and college kids, and it's a neighborhood type of kids movie where there are these two sisters, and then they got a friend who I thought was a third sister, but I think she just hangs around with them. Mm-hmm. They capture youth, friendship, neighborhoody stuff really pretty well, Right. And then there's like a younger brother. There's a young kid that's got a crush on one of the sisters, and there's an older guy in the neighborhood that's got a crush on that same sister.
But you got to give. I mean, you can tell the main.
Yeah, I got to tell the main. So the main premise of this is it's kind of a sort of a zombie movie in a way, but it's like if you've got a curse on you, then someone's going to come for you, and this someone can assume different forms and be a different person from scene to scene. So, like, there's a scary scene early on of like a woman who broke out of a nursing home or something, who's just walking straight across the schoolyard, right at the woman that she's right at her target.
Right.
And like the person that's chasing you can be someone you know, someone you've never met, and they're all different. There's like a naked woman at one point. At one point, there's like a scene that's kind of rushing through the house, and you don't realize that this one's in there, and it's like a 7'5" guy. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember that part.
They were kind of all in this one room, and one kid came in the room, and this 7'5" guy comes in behind him. And the thing is, the cursed person can see them, but nobody else can see them.
And you have to tell how they get the curse, because that's the prim. I mean, that's
they get the curse. When you have when you have sex with someone who has the curse, then they pass the curse on to you.
Right. So that's what people are trying to do, is they're trying to find somebody.
Trying to get rid of the curse by passing it on.
So if you have sex with somebody and you give them the curse, you get rid of it?
Right.
Except if that person ends up getting killed, then they come back after you again. So you give it to someone, and then you hope they give it to someone, and they just keep giving it and giving it and giving it, and so they aren't chasing, all these different people. But that's a real stickler, And then, of course, one of the main kids has the curse,
right? And
they're trying to figure out how to pass it on, and if it's even real, and just trying to figure out. You'll see like there's a scene where they pull away in a car, and there's just like a naked man standing on top of the house that they're leaving.
That's one of the scariest things I've ever in a movie is they're looking and they see that person on top of the house.
Well, the cursed person does, and no one else sees it. But the thing is, if you've passed it on, you still see the zombie figure. So, like if person A passes it on to B, both A and B then see the people who are pursuing them.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing a part two. It certainly left itself open to that. But the first scene is really shocking. Of someone who's like running from the curse and everything, and the death scenes. I don't know if you remember the first death scene.
I can't remember the first death scene. I've only seen it once.
Graphic and spooky. But anyway,
I just thought it was great that somebody actually came up with a new idea.
It was a new idea. Yeah, it was a new idea, and it was like $1 million is all they had in it. So it was like a low budget movie, and these are unknown people who are playing them. And the interesting thing is, all these kids have kind of authentic type of rapport with each other, and it's not that smart even. And like one of the main sisters, kind of the main sister, just sort of talks like Jennifer Tilly or someone like that. She has this little voice, this little crackly voice, and they do this teenage thing, and they'll be in the middle of something, and then one of them would just be like, "Oh, I'm so tired of I'm so tired of this sweater," or something, and it's just kind of like so it's like realistic that they're facing these harrowing situations, but they're also just teenagers.
Well, and it also kind of, it's a little bit of a parody on the classic slasher sort of movie, where it's like the most virginal girl, of course, is the one who survives the end. And this one, you're going to have sex with somebody to survive.
Yeah. The ones that sleep around are the ones who are playing it smart. But and the thing about it, I don't think I watched it again last night, and it is scary, but it's not really that funny, So it doesn't have that much to fall back on. So
there's a lot of tension.
There's a lot of tension, but it's something you see it 2 or 3 times, and you probably don't want to watch it again. But it's definitely worth watching for the innovation.
Oh, for sure.
And like I say, just the realistic portrayal of teenagers and young people. Because there's one guy, the young kid that has the crush on the hot girl, and he wants to sleep with her to save her. He wants to, and so he's like hoping to, get that moment, and
It's worth the curse.
Yeah, exactly. It's worth the curse. I want to save you. Let's have sex, So it has that kind of weirdness to it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk about real quick this sort of a subgenre of horror films, cannibal films.
Okay.
Because there's Bone Tomahawk, which I like westerns, and it is a great western and has a cannibal aspect to it. And kind of oddly, another one is a western, Ravenous.
Okay.
Which has Robert Carlyle as kind of the leader at this
I've seen
fort.
That one.
Oh, it's good.
Okay.
And that's the whole thing is this fort, they've all, gone to cannibalism. And then there's, of course, The Road, the Cormac McCarthy book that was turned into a movie which is better than most people remember, but it's hard to watch. And, of course, that's the thing is if they get if they get caught by certain people, they'll eat them.
Right.
Because that's an aspect. And I find that it's funny that's a particularly horrifying thing. And there's a whole kind of genre of films now that are, it's not like Cannibal Holocaust.
Right.
But movies where the thing that's going to happen is you're going to get eaten.
Yeah.
By another human.
Did you see, what was it, the mosquitoes? It's like one of the...
Mosquitoes?
It's the girls are in a plane crash. And it's been a series, and I saw a couple of episodes.
Oh, are you talking about the... Oh, no, the Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets.
I haven't seen that one yet. Everybody tell me about it.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, yeah, check it out.
Okay. Cannibalism in that one, obviously. I want to...
Yeah, just check it out.
Yeah, it's on Showtime, I think. I don't know if Showtime right
Okay.
now.
Yeah, but it's good. Well, I'm always interested in Cormac McCarthy just because... Another weird celebrity encounter. My mom was friends with Cormac McCartney back in the day. He a lot of his youth was based in Knoxville, and some of his books are based in Knoxville. And my mom and dad actually owned a house. And then my mom was a realtor and sold it to him and his wife. And they lived down the road from us and would have her over for tea and everything. So. And he was nothing like what you would expect from his books. He was a perfectly charming man, and so was his wife and woman. And anyway.
And cannibalism figures into at least 2 of his books.
Yeah, and they never served my mom human meat. It was strictly tea and crumpets.
Not that she knows about.
Yeah, not that she knows about.
They violated watermelons, but...
Yeah, possibly, yes. And she didn't check out the cellar to see what was hanging down there. So... Well, so I'm going to go to another one, and this is like a dual couple of movies that are sort of have the same premise, but they have different results. And this is You're Next from 2011 and Ready or Not from 2019. And in both of these movies, there's a young woman who is seeing or marrying a man that's in a prominent family. And so the woman is an outsider, and there's a big family gathering. And in You're Next, it goes wrong early on, and that there's like something from the outside that picks off someone in the house, and there's suddenly paranoia and murder and mayhem and all this stuff. The cool twist on that one, it's very graphic. It's very much a hoot. It's almost like a really violent...
Agatha Christie.
Agatha Christie, yeah. And I love Agatha Christie movies. So this is like Agatha Christie with like decapitations.
Yeah, those are like 10 little Indians with them. Yeah.
But the cool thing about You're Next is that the woman in it, who's kind of incidental to everything that's going on with the murders and all of that stuff and the paranoia, she actually, a small plot line that comes out is that she kind of came up in a survivalist home. So it so happens she's an expert at survivalism, which no one anticipated, and it makes her a fierce opponent to these outside forces that are trying to kill her and her boyfriend's family members. And then Ready or Not is more, it's also, it had a bigger, it has Samara Weaving and Andy McDowell.
This is the one I haven't seen.
Adam Brody. You haven't seen that one? Okay, so this one was from 2019, so it's a few years later. And it's about a woman who's married the rich guy into this family. And they have this tradition where they play games on the wedding night or the night before the wedding. I think it's the wedding night. Yeah, because I think they're actually married when that happens. and the guest, the person marrying into the family, picks, what game they're going to play, just like randomly. Mm-hmm. And she picks Ready or Not, mm-hmm. which is like a game of hide and seek. And so she thinks it's funny, and she's ready to play hide and seek. But it's like hide and seek for life, for your life. And she has to survive until the morning from this family that's all armed now to take her out. And not all of them are really out to get her, but... and at first she thinks it's a joke, and she's not taking it seriously because it's just too weird to be real. But it's, again, similar to Your Next. It's here's a woman like having to fight for her life in this family environment to stake her claim in the family if she wants to be part of this family. The differences, I would say, the basic differences is Your Next is much scarier and much more graphic, has more tension, mm-hmm. and Ready or Not is a lot more funny and has great lines and deaths and stuff like that. But I think they're both kind of the similar concept of a whodunit, mass killing kind of movie.
Well, Your Next, I thought, had a very satisfying ending.
Yes.
It's we can't say anything about it other than you kind of get what you want.
Yeah. And it's like, you do. And it's just, you got that glimmer of hope when it's like, oh, wait, she knows stuff. She knows stuff. She's not just going to run screaming out into the yard, she knows.
Well, one more quick thing when you were talking about in Drag Me to Hell, where the woman changes, it made me think about Lost Highway, the David Lynch movie, mm-hmm. which is his scariest movie. Mm-hmm. And, mostly scary because of Robert Blake, because Robert Blake is really creepy in this film. But in that movie, the main character... I think it's Bill Pullman, is like halfway through the film, the character he's supposed to be is suddenly played by somebody else.
Oh, okay.
And that one starts
because he got kicked off the film, right?
No. It's totally planned. He comes back.
Okay.
But suddenly you're watching like kind of a different plot, and he's a different person, but he's also the same person.
Okay.
But the whole premise of that one is. Somebody starts sending videotapes of him and his wife, and they've been filming them while they sleep.
Oh, okay.
And
sounds like Paranormal Activity.
Well, yeah, just it's creepy because they can't figure out what's going on. And then I've read all sorts of different interpretations. I have my own interpretation of what happened, but there's a pretty common one that I think makes sense. But it is a scary ass movie, and Trent Reznor did the music for it.
Okay, well that's always good.
Yeah, and
it can do scary.
Oh yeah, and it gets creepier and creepier.
All right.
So anyway, there's another one where somebody there's a reason that they transform into a different person, but then you come.
Well,
back.
if you find out who this woman is in Drag Me to Hell, let me know.
Well, I'll watch that. I'll watch
she's Alison Lohman for 10 seconds, and then she's never seen again. It's like there's no explanation for it, or I don't know. It's just really bizarre that happened. I have one more really quick take.
Okay.
And, that's from 2022.
Okay.
It's called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Did you hear anything about that?
I don't remember that one at all.
It came out and disappeared. It came out with a good buzz, and I had to go see it. And it's one of those, everybody goes to some remote, expensive house, and these are, it's mostly young women, and there are a couple of guys. Pete Davidson's one of the guys, but don't let that turn you off from the movie. He doesn't ruin the movie. And then there's an older guy who's made fun of for being an older guy, who's like macking on these younger women. Mm-hmm. And the women are these friends. It's like, 5 or 6 of them, and 2 of them used to be lovers with each other. One's jealous of. They're not all lesbians, but there's just like some fluidity there as to what they're attracted to and all of that. And one of the women going is like a German exchange student who's going with her girlfriend, who has all of her history with these other women. And it's kind of a basic premise is they're out in the middle of nowhere and they're getting drunk and doing drugs, and some of them are having sex and dancing and all that stuff. And then they play this game called Bodies, Bodies. I know, dancing. It's like horrifying. I can't believe these people showing their ankles and swerving their hips. And it's just absolutely unforgivable. But anyway, they play this game called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. And it's like Clue. You know, it's basically they turn the lights off and they draw cards, and one of them has to be the victim, and then one has to be the killer. And the victim just, you know, they turn the lights on or whatever, and the victim's dead, and then they have to figure out who the killer was. And I think they kill the lights again or something, and they're running around and trying to identify it, and then, you know, start things. People actually end up dying, you know, so that's not how the game usually works for them. But the selling point...
That's just a glitch this time. Don't worry about it.
The selling point for Bodies. What are you going to say, John?
I was just going to say they're using the wrong dice.
They're using the wrong dice, yeah. Don't get the, you know, the radioactive dice next time. I don't know. But the selling point here is that these women are so catty, and the dialogue is great. And like in the middle of all the running around and fighting and everything, they're literally like arguing. It's like Mean Girls in a slasher film.
Oh, I'd like that.
You know,
yeah.
so it's got that just great dialogue, and that's what not saves it, but, you know, it elevates it beyond just and one by one they die and all this stuff, and you don't know what's happening and who's the killer, and, you know, if the killer is one of them or somewhere else, and it's got a great. I think at the end of the movie, or maybe even in the end credits, you see what happened to one of the characters, and it's just hilarious. Not anything anyone would have assumed.
Huh.
But
to look that one up too.
But yeah, like I say, if you want to see Mean Girls in a slasher film, I would say Bodies.
That sounds fun.
The dialogue's great, and the women are just like, you know, savage with each other.
All right, we're going to do our final recommendations on.
Well, just to interrupt.
Here
quickly,
we go. Yes.
Listening to you, I started thinking about movies that I thought, that made me afraid. And then, so I came up with 3. And the first one was from 2003, and it's called Open Water.
Oh, yeah.
It's about a couple that go scuba diving on a group, scuba diving off the Great Barrier Reef. And when they emerge from the water, the whole tour has left them, and they're just floating out in the middle of the ocean.
Inspired by a true story.
Yeah, shark-infested water, and that one's just terrifying.
Yes.
And keeping with the nautical theme, I just thought of Dead Calm, which is from '89, but it's Sam Neill and Nicole Kidman. And
it's Nicole Kidman's first movie, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Billy Zane is the bad guy, and he is horrific.
Yeah.
He's just an horrible
this
bad guy.
good-looking psycho.
And then one other one that's not really, it's a comedy disguised as a horror movie, and it's from 1994, and it's Serial Mom, John Waters, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
It's a slasher movie, but it's really funny, and Kathleen Turner turn from being the perfect suburban mom to a horrifying killer just on a dime, and it's really worth watching.
That's really one of his best movies. I mean, he's done some good ones, but man, that one is just like
Patricia Hearst in the wrong shoes.
Oh yeah,
when she's chasing after someone in the family station wagon, just driving across people's yards, and it's Barry Manilow blasting out of the stereo, and she's singing along with a big smile on her face, driving through people's hedges, and it's hilarious.
That's a good one.
Yep, and one of his most perverse movies, really. I mean, even considering the early perverse movies
in Odorama.
Yeah.
Well, that one. I mean, Polyester. I mean, I love Polyester.
Yeah.
But that's like toned down from the earlier ones. But yeah, Serial Mom kind of amps it back up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do How We Saw It, which is, even though we've been talking about movies this whole time.
Okay, so you're going to go with the movie first. Okay.
I'm going to go with the movie first because it's kind of a compendium, is that the right word, to what we've already been talking about.
Okay.
And in honor of my French heritage, I've dug up a couple of French movies.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and these are older. You may have seen one of them, and I've told you about another one of them, but one of them is called High Tension. I don't know if you saw that.
I have wanted to see High Tension for a long time, and I've never managed to see it.
Well, it came out in 2003, and it's about 2 young college women who are lovers, and they go out into the country to stay at the estate of one of them, their families. And it's surreal, and it's savage and violent. I mean, so violent and so surreal and shocking. It really is. And it's like an art film. It's like an art film, intense horror film, you know. So If you really want a good scare, it's French, but just what, and they kind of, there's some like little rules in horror movies that you can't cross this, you can't do that,
right.
And they do it anyway. You know? So you'll see things you won't see in American horror films, really. And then the other one you may not realize is a French movie, but it is weird, beyond weird. One of the weirdest yet, and I've already told you about it, but I don't think you've seen it.
Which one?
It was filmed in California, and it's filmed in English, but it is Quentin Dupieux,
right?
Called Rubber.
Oh no, I've not seen it.
Okay,
You told me about
Rubber.
it. I want to see it.
All I have to say about Rubber is it's a movie about a tire that is a serial killer. A tire from a vehicle is a serial killer. The tire's name is Robert. The tire doesn't talk. It doesn't move in any other odd ways. It has psychokinesis, and it is a serial killer. And I don't know if I need to say it. And so if you want weird, it just doesn't get weirder than that. And, of course, it's got, like an absurdist kind of humor to it. So so those are my two French films.
I've had that show up every once in a while, and I keep thinking, I want to watch it, but I'm not really in the mood yet. So I do want to see it.
It's you're watching. It's like, okay, is this going to be explained somehow? And it's just like the tire is like staying in a hotel room. The tire has a crush on a woman. It's stalking her. And I think one of his first victims is a woman has car trouble. So Robert, the tire, is going to help her, and then some trucker or something stops to help her. So Robert savagely kills the trucker. And it's just like, and it's not really special effects, and it's not. I don't know how to explain it other than just say it's a serial killer tire movie.
All right,
probably the best one you'll see.
In solidarity with you, I'm going to recommend a French film.
Okay.
And no, I take it back. I'm not going to recommend that one. I'm not.
Mon Dieu.
Well, it was one of my. But I want to save this for another. We need a whole show on surrealist films.
Okay.
But I want to recommend 1998 Dark City. Director Alex Proyas has Jennifer Connelly, Kiefer Sutherland, and Richard O'Brien, who didn't do a whole lot after the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right.
And he plays a creepy little character in this. And this movie. Go ahead.
He was the Riff-Raff.
Riff-Raff.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't think of the name. Yeah.
And he also wrote it. He was the writer of Rocky Horror. But this is a movie that is very. It looks like a film noir, and you're trying to understand why this is set in the 1930s, it seems like. And then strange things start happening. People start levitating. There's all sorts of things that couldn't possibly happen in 1930s America, but everything looks like it. And everything is dark everywhere. And this movie tells you, at the end, it all makes sense. You're wondering why these things are happening. In the end, but people don't talk about it hardly at all, and it's really fun and creepy, and it's like an old detective.
There was like a lot of water or something in it too, wasn't there?
There's water, but it's mostly the dark atmospheric stuff. Everything is done like alleyways.
Okay. And
it's in color, and there's lots of blue, and it's really cool. But Jennifer Connelly, of course, is gorgeous.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yes. But it's
like those brows.
Oh yeah. But it's a lot of fun, and it's just very surreal, and it's not scary. It's creepy and very like 1930s, 1950s film noir. It's very film noir, but it is science fiction.
Okay.
But
I remember seeing it and liking it. I don't remember. It's been a while, and I only saw it once, so I don't remember the ending. Well, there's tying it up quite.
Yeah, you find out why everything is what it is, but it has a little, it has a little Matrix feel to it. I'm sure they had to be influenced by it somewhat, just in the way it looks in places. But I think people would like it. I love it. I thought it was great.
All right.
You got any music?
I do have music because, in keeping with our theme of horror films and all, and in keeping with all of the music talk about women and this being the year of women, and it absolutely has. It's every year is kind of the year of women now in music, but this year most the active popular women have released albums, and you had Beyonce taking over country. You had Taylor Swift setting all kinds of records. You had a Madonna tour. They got 1.5 million people at a show in Rio de Janeiro and a live show. And so it's appropriate that there's a breakthrough artist now called Chappell Roan. She's actually been going at it for 4 years. She's been trying to make it 4 long years.
4 long years.
She's 26, Wayne. She's so old.
Almost dead.
I know.
Yeah, really.
It's like, I'm glad she got this in before her last days, but she's 26, so she's at the very leading edge of Gen Z. So she's old, a few years on Olivia Rodrigo and Billie Eilish and all this, but she has that same subversive edge that they have. And she's a great singer, and she's a great songwriter. She's kind of like a and she's like a perverse Taylor Swift in a way. It's like she does write about relationships and everything, but in very odd terms. I don't know how to explain it, but
very sexual terms. Come on, you were telling me some lyrics earlier.
sexual terms and matter of fact terms. And a couple of the videos I recommend, since we're more visual this time, but also musical in this case. The 2 videos I recommend of hers are, one is called My Kink is Karma. And it's about, she's broken up with this guy, and she's obsessed with him because his life has just gone to hell since they broke up, and she's loving every minute of it. It's reminiscent of Lily Allen.
I knew you were going to say Lily Allen.
Yeah, and it's like that because she's talking about, and what is it? Like, there's like a punchline is like, people say I'm jealous, but my kink is watching you, and she's talking about just all these terrible things that are happening to him. And in the video, she's like wearing devil horns and everything, and he's wearing clown masks, and she's just doing all these, kind of not S&M, but just like, S, just sadomasochistic things to him, and torturing him, and his life is falling apart, and she's just enjoying it and eating up every minute. And then another song of hers that also has kind of a horror film video to it is called Casual. And this one, it's a really cool video because there's like a spirit in the sea that is like capturing men. And it turns out she's just like down by the sea, and some guy comes running out of the water and saying, "Oh, stay out of the water, stay out of the water." And she watches, and this siren comes walking out. It's like a mermaid looking, but she's got legs, so they don't deal with the whole, flopping fin, whatever. And she's kind of creepy and kind of gorgeous at the same time. And they hit it off. Chappell Roan hits it off with this siren.
Right.
And so they start like dating, and they're like riding bicycles and eating popsicles and all this stuff. And so she's having this little affair with this siren who is, on the other hand, luring men into the ocean and killing them. And of course the lyrics are about how she's being demeaned by her own friends and by her, I guess, boyfriend. I'm not sure. She definitely identifies as bisexual at the moment, and but I believe the person she's singing to is the guy. But either way, it doesn't matter. But she's mad that she's being dismissed as not that important to him, and that he just has a casual thing for her, and they don't have a thing.
This is a complicated video.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are the lyrics. She's riding down the bike with a green spirit, with braided hair and eating popsicles. But at the same time, she's doing these lines about. She's also getting thrown out of her home and talking about being looked down on by everybody. But she has these biting lines about how he still really cares about her and he's still really involved with her. And she has this line called knee deep in the passenger seat, and she brings up a sex act that they're doing. And then she says, "Are we casual now?" And so she just says all these things that they're still doing and saying, "Are we casual now?" So it's good, and I'm happy to see her make it. Like I say, she tried to start off in April of 2020, which was the worst possible time to try to launch a career in anything.
Yeah.
And she bombed, and Atlantic Records dropped her, but she rebounded, and she had an album out last year. And I figured I would mention her at some point here, and this has just become her breakout year. So with all these other women, these established women, rolling along, you've got this big breakout who's kind of surging past them, at least most of them.
And John just saw her at Bonnaroo not too long ago.
Indeed.
Yeah, a few months ago, I guess.
Who knows when?
Whenever Bonnaroo was. When was Bonnaroo? I don't
in
know.
June.
What day is now?
It's not. It's all. We're old. It
Yeah.
all goes together. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a long time.
Yeah, 3 months ago just sounds like yesterday, doesn't it? But anyway, she's a great singer. And
All
what
right.
did you think about her?
It's not exactly my type of music, but I really appreciated. She's got tons of energy. She's a great
Yeah.
dancer. She had a full band.
Yep.
All women.
All women.
They
Yep.
appeared to be playing their instruments, which is always great for me. The thing that kills for me is when I can't account for where the music's coming from.
Yeah.
I'm just having to grudgingly accept that loops
just
and
how it
things
is
are
now.
going to be
Yeah.
part of live music. But
Well,
yes,
I think
liked
these
it.
women all actually play.
And-
They have a Tiny Desk concert on NPR, and
I'll
you
look at
see
that.
the women are.
That's where that's where I
Yeah.
really learned to appreciate Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
This is when she came on there. It was her and an acoustic guitar and a piano.
And you can see elements of Taylor Swift in her. Yeah, like I say, she's on the leading edge of Gen Z, so she does seem to be a different generation from Taylor Swift. But you can see that whole analytical kind of humor and pointed, messages. And I do like her look is kind of. She's been identified as a drag queen, really, by other drag queens. She's not a drag queen. She's a woman. And not dressing as a drag queen, but she does drag up her makeup and everything.
Yeah.
So she is kind of drag. She looks like Cyndi Lauper in drag.
Well, and I will say, it was at the Bonnaroo Music Festival, which is in Middle Tennessee, and it was in the middle of the summer, and it was well into the 90s. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the biggest stage, which has no
man.
roof,
Heat.
She packed it out, and
Yeah.
everyone there was singing along with every word. So it made me think, wow.
That just makes me so happy to see someone who 4 years ago was making a stab at it, and I thought, well, she's probably just never going to make it, and it's too bad because she's got so much talent. And then boom,
It's paying off.
she's making it.
I've seen in the past week. I had not heard about her until the past week, and then I've seen stuff all over the place about her.
Yeah. Yeah, so good for this. May be her year.
Yeah.
It's like step aside Taylor Swift and Beyonce and all you others. I don't know, but it's definitely paid off for her.
Well, I'm recommending music from the weird side, not the horror side.
Okay.
And I am recommending Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim was...
That's weird.
I know. In 1968, everybody thought Tiny Tim was a joke, and Tiny Tim was really strange. He's, of course, everybody knows Tiptoe Through the Tulips, that he made a hit in 1968, which is a song originally from like 1927, which it plays at the end of Jeepers Creepers. You might remember.
Yes.
It does.
We didn't talk about Jeepers Creepers.
Well, we can do that
Great
in another
horror
one.
film.
Yeah,
Great
but we
horror
mentioned it because it's Justin Long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We
Okay.
did. But Tiny Tim was basically a library of modern pop music, or pop music from the past 100 years. He knew all sorts of songs. And his first album, God Bless Tiny Tim, was produced by Richard Perry, who went on to produce Nielsen Schmilson, Without You, which was a huge hit, and the Pointer Sisters, all their pop hits. And he became sort of the go-to producer for divas, for the Carly Simon and different people who were out there at the time. Aretha Franklin, he produced one of her popular albums.
I've heard of her.
Aretha Franklin. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I know. But, and that album is full of great songs done. He mostly sings in his baritone, not his falsetto.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've ever heard that.
Well, most people haven't, because all they can think of is Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
Yeah.
And he had this old crooner voice
Right.
that he had that was really a cool voice. And he's got, songs by Tom Paxton, Hoyt Axton. He has a song called The Other Side, which is about global warming in 1968.
Oh, wow.
And it's a really good album. And it's you just basically have to kind of let down your defenses on thinking this guy's a joke and realize that he is very much a serious musician.
Well,
Go ahead.
doing like joke type music usually takes a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And Like, I mean, same with Weird Al or whatever.
Right.
You know, it's like there's usually talent that underscores and makes it possible for them to sound like they do. You know,
Yeah.
it's not just people who don't know how to sing.
And the Beatles became a big fan of it. I mean, there was
Yeah.
all sorts of different people who were kind of in the know. He performed in Greenwich Village before he wound up on Laugh-In. Of course, like I said, I was 8 years old when I saw him on Laugh-In and thought he's really funny. I wanted to buy this album. And then I bought the album, and it's got a lot of stuff that's just flat out beautiful. And,
Okay.
you know, you think about now, you think it's sort of like, you know, Anthony and the Johnsons and people like that, where you're used to that falsetto from a male
I never
voice.
got used to that.
Well, so I like
That's one
Anthony
that we
Johnson.
break on. I
Yeah.
didn't like that one.
But
But I know what you're saying.
and there's a film out about him called King for a Day. That's, if you don't know anything about Tiny Tim, is a good film. If you're you know a nerd like I am, and the friends that I watched it with,
You're the narrator.
I mean, we were both thinking, well, we know all this stuff.
Yeah.
But if you've never heard, if you don't know anything about him, it's a pretty good film to watch. And he was a real talent, and it's, you know, too bad he's gone. Too bad he didn't
Yeah.
get the recognition he deserved. A lot of fun, crazy stuff, and he did have a sense of humor. So I mean, his version.
Was he mostly considered a novelty act?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But the people who recognized what he was doing got it and recognized that, I mean, this is a guy who was a repository for all these great songs that nobody's listened to, nobody remembers. But he did a good album, another great album. The first album, God Bless Tiny Tim, is the one I'd recommend. But the next one is just called Girl, and it was recorded with Brave Combo. And he does things like a bossa nova version of Hey Jude. And he does a version of Stairway to Heaven that's, well, actually, I think, no, Hey Jude's a cha-cha, and Stairway to Heaven's a bossa nova.
Okay.
It's crazy. And it's just fun.
Right.
And that's
Okay.
That's the thing. It's like it's a lot of fun, and people ought to give him a chance and check it out, especially if you like weird.
Right. Okay.
So there you go.
Thank you. John, you got anything to say?
Well, I have one band that I saw at this Bonnaroo Music Festival. That
we're
I've
just
been-
now bringing it up. Okay.
But I have been a fan of theirs because I really love the really inventive guitar playing, and this is my sexism showing. But when we saw the band, the guitarist is a woman, and she just is a really, really interesting guitar player. But they're called Geese. They're from Brooklyn, New
Okay.
York. Their first album came out in like 21, and they just released a new album called 3D Country in 2023. I like the first one better, but the second one is also got some really great stuff on it too. But it's real sort of postmodern guitar-based rock.
Okay.
Cool.
Is it an all-woman band or just
No,
Okay.
all dudes except for the one woman,
Oh, does she sing or is she just the guitarist?
just the guitarist.
Okay. Cool.
Well, I don't think it's really sexist to assume that it's a guy, because there've not been that many great female guitar players. You know, now we're seeing them.
Yeah.
But for years, it was like,
Well,
they were
it was
in the
just that
background.
whole, rock music was just for women to listen to.
Yeah.
It's just like it wasn't really thought.
yeah. But now
Women
now
didn't think about that. Just wasn't something they thought about doing.
Well,
and it's like, well, there's no reason they can't.
and traditionally it was the bass player. If a woman was in the band and wasn't the singer, she was
She was
the
the
bass
bass player. Yeah, Tina Weymouth.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
all the way across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
But anyway, check out Geese.
All right.
cool.
All right.
All
I
right.
think we're done.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
for listening, everybody, and we'll come back around at you.
You've been listening to How We Heard It with Chuck Campbell and Wayne Bledsoe, a podcast about music, art, culture, movies, whatever they want to talk about. How We Heard It was recorded in Knoxville, Tennessee at the Arbor Studio by John Baker. If you believe you've been abducted by aliens during the listening to this podcast, we take no responsibility for that. How We Heard It is a Tear Owl production, and if you'd like to reach out to Chuck or Wayne, send an email to howweheardit@gmail.com. Come on back next week and we'll have another show for you.